welcome back to another week. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's excited. It's February. That brings a lot with it. It's the start of spring, technically, in Ireland, so that's fun and nice and makes me a little happier. So yeah, it's all good. So welcome back to another video. This week is going to be something a little different. I'm going to be employing a screen recording, which I've never done before, which is very exciting, but I was trying it out there and it's working, so I'm like, oh, let's do something with that. So basically, this week I'm going to just be doing a few search terms. And basically, I got the inspiration from this. A few years ago, one of my good friends was doing a project in school or in college or something, and she needed, for some reason, to search the term CEO. And she wrote to me and she was raging. She was like, oh my god, Lauren, if you Google search the term CEO, it's just all men, and like the first person you see is like CEO Barbie, and it's just like a disgrace. And I was like, oh my god, that's so interesting. Like, I never thought about that, or just like, at that point I had never thought about how kind of like technology could be sexist, and as we know now it is so sexist, but I never really thought about it, so I thought I would kind of shine a light on it today. So I'm going to do a few search terms and I'm going to show you as I do it so you can all be there with me in the experience. So we're going to search CEO, we're going to search boss, which is a very interesting one, and then we're going to search girls and boys, like those words, and I'm just going to kind of observe what I see and talk about it, and it's really, again, just to maybe enlighten people to what they might have previously been unaware of or might have previously ignored, or because I know I didn't notice this stuff, you know, and like when you're used to seeing it all the time, you just don't pay attention to it. So I think they're really interesting, so I'm just gonna go search them and we're just gonna see what we find. Okay, so I have my laptop here, so we're gonna start the screen recording in 3, 2, 1. So here we are on Google. It's all very exciting. Oh, you can see all my bits here now up the top. Haha, lol. Okay, so we're literally just gonna start off CEO. CEO, how cute. You can see that I've typed it before. Ha, lol. And basically, we're gonna go into, sorry, I didn't explain that. Yeah, we're gonna go into images and see what comes up. So we're gonna go into images and we're just gonna see what we come up with. Okay, straight off, you can see it's majority men. So obviously, I mean, like, it's always tough with these things because I'm like, I do see a woman in the top line. I actually see 2 women in the top line. I see a woman in the second line. I see 1 woman in the third line. So like, you almost kind of hate when you see that, because it's like, you know, there are going to be people who are like, oh, but like, there's equality. Like, there's women in there. It's not just all men, you know. But like, if we look at the numbers, just didn't say these, say, what is it, 15, there's 20, there's 16 pictures there. Out of the 16 pictures, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 women. And I think it's just so interesting to pay attention to that, because like, if I was a girl and if I was growing up and I wanted to be a CEO and I googled CEO and all I saw was men, like, how would that make me feel? Like, what would I think? And like, you know, when you're younger, you don't have the words to express things, you don't have the knowledge as to what's going on, so like, you just go like, what would you think? Like, you don't see any women, or you see a couple, or you only see, you know, 2 or 3. What would you think, you know? So I just think it's super, super interesting to note. Also worth noting is that the majority of the men pictured are white. So it's not just a sexist issue, it's violently racist as well. But let's keep going down. There's Mr. Trump. Yeah, let's keep in. Like, you think like, okay, maybe the men are at the top, maybe the women are at the bottom. Like, no, it continues all the way to the bottom. It's just majority male. Like, hilarious. Even here, like, it kind of seems like it's the men talking and like the woman listening. And like, even here, it's like, yeah, 4 old white men and then 1 woman of colour. Yeah, so just super interesting to be aware, guys. Yeah, and it just honestly continues the whole way down. Like, this is hilarious. Like, obviously there are women kind of every so often, but not good enough. It's not good enough. Okay, so let's go to our next search term, which is boss. Now, this is going to be extremely similar, but let's see what happens anyway. So, boss. Okay. Again, okay, a bit more diverse now because we have all these Hugo Boss bits. But again, I mean, Yeah, like the first woman that was spotted there now was this, and that's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th line that she's on. So you search boss and all you see is either these random bits and men. Okay, so we'll say one woman has been spotted. Okay, this is the movie thing for like a boss. Okay, this is funny because this is the next time you see women in cartoon form, it's about what should I do about my awful sexist boss? Lol. Yeah. So, similar trend as you go down. You know, and again, I think like women particularly aren't associated with the word boss. We're called bossy, but we're not called boss. And it's just kind of insane to me. It's just like that everything is sexist. Like everything, and like particularly technology, because technology is designed by people. And the tech sector is disproportionately male. So of course it's going to be sexist, of course. And like, I know Google have tried to make strides over the years. Like, I remember I saw an article before and it was like, you know, you search the definition of a word and then it gives you like an example of that word in a sentence. And there was a big uproar because the sentences that were coming back were quite sexist. So say if you Googled the word kitchen, the sentence that came back was like, oh, the woman was in the kitchen. You know, like it never said man. Or like, if I think one of the examples given as well was like, if you Googled the term sandwich, it was like, oh, like, please wife, can you make me a sandwich? Or something like that, you know, something like so silly. And they had to really put in an effort to make their search engine less sexist, because like what was coming back out was what was going in, and that was the male perspective, and it just wasn't good enough, to be honest. So yeah, boss is just not coming back good, guys. It is not coming back good. Okay. Now the next ones, the terms girls and boys, and I think I already had a quick look, but I think these ones are really interesting as well. So I think, what will we do first? What will be most interesting? Okay, I think we'll go boys first. So boys. Okay, so what are we noticing? They're all super young. Like they're all like kids. Like none of them are teenagers. Maybe very, very young teenagers. They're all, I mean, like, they're all majority fully clothed, besides Sky, but he's just like, he's going for a swim. They're all fully clothed. They're all just smiling, they're all just chilling. Nothing kind of stand out, it's just boys, just chilling. Yeah. Just all being happy and smiley and young, besides Sky. Yeah. Yeah, all very normal. Obviously when you get to the bottom it's a bit more dodgy, but the top, all very, very normal. Right? Okay. Now let's search the term girls. Now, not too bad when you first go in. Okay, again we're seeing girls, young girls. But I think what we're seeing is also that they are a lot older. Like some are a lot older. Like we're seeing, like this is coming up, or this is coming up. Like is that, like what is that? Is that like that? Is that porn? Or I don't even know what that is. We're seeing like this is coming up. Like yes, we have like the nice innocent bits, but I think in general we are seeing a lot more sexualized bits than when we had been on the boys one. It actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be, but still that's how low the bar is, that this is what's considered good. You know, we're seeing things like this. And again, not to say there's anything wrong with that or with women showing skin or whatever, but it's just really interesting to note the differences. Like when you go on to the boys, it's super, super innocent and it's young. It genuinely is like young boys. Whereas girls, like people who are like 50 are called girls. And I just find it so like patronizing and infantilizing, and it's like, what do you mean by that? Are you is that like a put down, or it's like girls? It seems to be like this inherently like sexual thing because like, you know, women are just sex objects, but then God forbid we're sexual ourselves. Then I just find it really, really interesting when you Google the search terms. Like it's just, you obviously have all this, but it is different. Like I actually didn't see any kind of sexy things for the boys. Like it's just not a sexy thing. You know what I mean? Like boy, like when you Google boys, like no, like that's genuinely underage. But I'm just kind of like, why is it different then for girls? Like why is girls not just seen as like you're under 10 or something? Why is it seen as you could be like a sexual being, or like girl with like just no clothes on, or like I just like, why is it different? And like I don't even have the answers, but I just want people to think why. It's definitely just a lot more varied in terms of age, in terms of levels of clothing, in terms of just everything. I think it's just interesting to note. And really, as I said with this video, I just want people to become more aware of when they're searching things, what's coming back to them. Do they think their technology is sexist? Like, could it be improved? I just think it's something interesting to note. So that is this week's video. I'm going to leave it there. Hope I have somehow illuminated your minds, or just kind of raised a bit of consciousness, and hopefully next time you search something or you're using any kind of tech, just think about it. Who was this made by? What agenda do they have? What maybe blocks in their consciousness do they have? What perspective do they have? Yeah, it's just interesting to think about. So hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!